Jonathan Turley has been watching today's developments along with us. He's also written about Sotomayor. He's a constitutional law professor at George Washington University School of Law. Jonathan, you wrote recently that my main concern is the lack of intellectual depth in her past opinions. Explain what you mean by that.
Well, I've read roughly about 30 of these opinions. She has a much larger library of opinions. But they are notable in one thing, and that it's a lack of depth. There's nothing particularly profound in her past decisions. She's been a judge a long time. That's opposed to people like Judge Wood on the Seventh Circuit, and she was viewed as a real intellectual powerhouse. You really can't read the opinions of this nominee and say, oh, yeah, this person is a natural choice for the Supreme Court. Now, there have been surprises. You know, some justices sort of reached their speed and depth while on the court, just as John Paul Stevens is an example. You know, even the first half of his career and decisions on the court were not particularly deep or profound, but the second half is quite the opposite. So you can have people who open up on the court, and as lower court judges, they may be timid in that respect. But I have to say that liberals obviously are enjoying, rightfully, a certain short-term elation with this twofer, a woman and a Latina, being put on the court. But in terms of long-term satisfaction, she does not naturally suggest that she's going to be the equal of Scalia. And I think that was the model for liberals. They wanted someone who would shape the intellectual foundations of the court. Her past opinions do not suggest that she is like that. It suggests that she'll be a great justice like Thurgood Marshall. She'll be the first Latina. But I'll remind you, Thurgood Marshall's opinions did not have a lasting intellectual impact on the court.
But even if there isn't a lasting intellectual impact that Sotomayor has of the court, and that's obviously a big if, isn't it quite possible that, that could come with the next pick or the one after that? And should that be much of a factor for anybody to consider?
I think it should be the factor, and unfortunately it's not. The Senate does not really look at the intellectual depth of a nominee. They don't seem to feel comfortable with that type of inquiry. That should be the primary inquiry. I mean, I do believe it's wonderful to have women on the court. I think Diane Wood would have met all criteria. But ultimately, questions about empathy and temperament are less important than whether this person is going to have a profound impact to help shape the court. And this nominee really doesn't have a history to suggest that.